Hi friends, welcome back to Read Aloud. Today is Thursday, March 26th. So in front of you, you should have the article with the frog on it that says, "Don't mess with this dad." And you should have the piece of paper that on the top says, "Thursday, 3/26, Read Aloud, don't mess with this dad." Now, before we get started, I have two shout-outs. One is for Joseph in Scranton, and one is for Faith in Pine Manor, because they both told their teachers that they really enjoyed the Read Aloud videos, and that lets me know that you guys are actually watching the videos and doing the work and trying your very best during this time. So, shout out to Faith and Joseph. If you would also like a shout out at the beginning of the videos, just have your parents text a picture of you doing the work, or the picture of your work, or a message about what you like about the videos, and you will receive a shout out as well. Now, let's get to it. This article is called "Don't Mess with This Dad." And I see a frog on the front. So before we even get started, I think we need to get into the right mindset. So, I've got something right here that might help. Alright, now that I am looking very frog-like, and I'm thinking like a frog, I think we're ready to get started. Let's do it. Don't mess with this dad. This dad is tough. He keeps his eggs safe from hungry animals. It's a big job for a little frog. And then we see here that this is a glass frog. Now, before we go any further, you can absolutely answer the first question. What is the genre of the article? Take about 15 seconds and go. Alright, so when we're thinking about the genre of the article, we know that there are some text features that we should look for to determine what the genre is. So just on the cover right here, I see a photograph, I see a label, and if we look inside it, we see some headings, some photographs, some captions, this diagram down here, and on the back there's a chart. So these are all text features that show us that this article is nonfiction. We also know that it's nonfiction because it's going to teach us about something. The title says "Don't Mess with This Dad," and on the front it says, "This dad is tough. He keeps his eggs safe from hungry animals. It's a big job for a little frog." So I'm thinking we're probably going to learn more about this dad's job. Let's get into it. Dad on duty. As you read, think about the different ways the frog dad cares for the eggs. Bzz, bzz. A wasp flies close to a clutch of frog eggs. The wasp is hungry, and those eggs look tasty. A frog dad sits nearby. His job is to keep the clutch safe, so he jumps into action. He kicks out one of his long, strong legs. Whack! His leg hits the wasp. It flies away. But Dad's job is far from over. Alright, we're going to pause here, and you're going to answer the next two questions. What is the main topic, and what text features do you see in the article? Take about 45 seconds now. Go. Okay, so when you're asking yourself what is the main topic of the article, we're asking ourselves what the article is about. So, I see a photograph here of a frog, and I see other photographs inside the article of frogs as well. But it's not just about frogs. The article is about a frog dad, so it's about dad frogs. So the main topic of this article is dad frogs or frog dads, whichever you want to write down. We know that we are learning about frogs that are dads and what their jobs are. Now, when it comes to text features, we've already listed a few when we were thinking about the genre. So we know that we saw photographs, we see headings on the inside, we see labels and captions and diagrams, we see bolded words, and on the back there's a chart. So those are all text features that you should have written down for that question, what text features do you see in the article? Let's keep reading. Alright, so we learned that the dad's job is far from over. He can't just kick a wasp away and say that I'm done for the day. There are other animals that want to eat the eggs, so dad covers them with his body. This keeps them extra safe. This also keeps them moist. The eggs need to stay wet. If the eggs are really dry, dad does something else. He pees on them. This might sound gross, but it helps the eggs survive. Taking care of the clutch is a lot of hard work. Good job, Father Frog. So, before we go on any further, you're going to answer the next question. Using your context clues, using the other words that are around the bolded word, what does the word moist mean? Take about 45 seconds and write down what you think the word moist means. Go. Alright, so when we're looking in the article, let's read the paragraph that the word moist is in. There are other animals that want to eat the eggs, so dad covers them with his body. This keeps them extra safe. This also keeps them moist. The eggs need to stay wet. Alright, so we know that the word moist can either mean safe or wet. Now, in order to figure out the true meaning of the word moist, I'm going to first substitute the word safe for moist. This keeps them extra safe. This also keeps them safe. But we already talked about them being safe. So I don't think moist means safe. Because we read the word also as well. So also makes me think that moist means something else. So I'm going to substitute the word wet in for moist. This keeps them extra safe. This also keeps them wet. That makes sense. So the dad covers the eggs with his body to keep them safe and wet. So the word moist means wet. Let's read the diagram down here. From egg to frog. The father frog doesn't need to keep the eggs safe forever. They change and become adult frogs over time. 1. Egg. A clutch has many eggs in it. Each one can grow into a frog. So we know that clutch means a group of frog eggs. 2. Tadpole. A tadpole hatches from an egg. A tail helps it swim. It can live only in water. Number 3. The tadpole with legs. The tadpole starts to grow legs. Its tail starts to shrink. 4. Adult frog. It has long legs and no tail. It can live on land or in water. Alright, so using that diagram now, you're going to answer the next question. Is this sentence true or false? How do you know? Tadpoles can live on land. So you're going to say whether that sentence is true or false and how you know. Take about a minute now. Go. Alright, so in this diagram, I see 4 photographs with 4 captions. The first caption starts with egg, so I'm probably not going to look there. The second caption starts with tadpole, so I should definitely look there. And it says a tadpole hatches from an egg. A tail helps it swim. It can live only in water. So that's information that I know is going to help me answer this question. So if tadpoles can only live on water, I'm going to think, can tadpoles live on land? No. So the sentence is false. Tadpoles can live on land is false because from the diagram you can tell that tadpoles can live only in water. So it is false because tadpoles can live only in water. So let's read the rest of these text features. So up here we see a group of eggs is called a clutch. And down here, some glass frogs have see-through skin. Ooh. So you can see this frog's insides under its belly. Interesting. Let's turn to the back. How many eggs are in 4 different clutches? Use the graph below to fill in the answer. So, even though I know we do slate math every day with Miss Rely, it's always good to practice more math. So, we're going to do that here. Glass, frog, egg graph. Clutch. We've got each clutch down here, so each group of frogs, there are 4 groups of frogs. And we know that each of these lines represents 5 eggs because they're counting up by 5 and it's saying how many eggs are in each clutch. So you're going to use this graph to answer the last question on your page. It says how many more frog eggs are in clutch A than clutch B? How do you know? So take about a minute now to answer that question using this graph, and we'll go over it when you're done. Go. So we're answering the question, how many more frog eggs are in clutch A than clutch B? So I know that there are two parts of this bar graph that I need to look at, clutch A and clutch B. The first thing I should do is figure out how many eggs are in both of these clutches. So I'm going to look at clutch A first, and I'm going to move my finger all the way up to the top of the bar and see that the bar hits right at 20. So I'm going to write 20 on top of that bar, just like that. Now, I have to look at clutch B now. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to take my finger and move it all the way up to the top of the bar, move it over here, and see that it comes right up to the line that says 15. So there are 15 eggs in that clutch, so I am going to write 15. So you can use two different strategies to solve this problem. You can either subtract or you can add. You can count back and see how many you have to count back to get from 20 to 15, or you can count up to see how many it would take to get from 15 to 20. So let's count back first. So let's put 20 in our heads, 20 in the frog's head, and then we've got 19, 18, 17, 16, 15. That's 5. Let's double check it with the other strategy. Now we're going to count up. Let's put 15 in our head, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Still 5. So how many more frog eggs are in clutch A than clutch B? There are 5 more frog eggs in clutch A than clutch B. And you can show your strategy underneath for how you know. Awesome. All right. So now on to our exit ticket. Your exit ticket today is asking you, what are the 3 ways a father frog helps to keep his clutch of frog eggs safe? We need to be sure to use evidence from the text and write in complete sentences. So I know that I'm going to look on the inside of this article to find the 3 ways a father frog helps keep his clutch of frog eggs safe. So I know that this diagram down here is just telling us the different stages of being a frog. So it's not telling us the job that a dad frog has. So I'm not going to look down here to answer that question. And then over here, it just says some glass frogs have see-through skin, and that's not going to help us answer our question. And up here it says a group of frog eggs is called a clutch, and that's not going to help us that's not going to help us answer our question either. So I know that we have to look in here for 3 ways that a father frog helps keep his clutch of frogs safe. So using the information in here, you are going to answer that question. All right, friends, great job today. Make sure that you're doing your very best work on your exit ticket. You're writing in your neatest handwriting, in complete sentences. And if you are especially proud of your work, remember to send a picture of it to your teacher, and you could get a shout out at the beginning of the next Read Aloud video. All right, friends, see you tomorrow.